Here's what I would encourage you with. Like, if you're trying to think of what to build your framework, what to build your framework to be able to do, AI right now is as stupid as it's ever going to be. It's at its stupidest moment today. So we talked about this idea. If I want to ask Barack Obama about a situation and have him apply a mental model, and string those, it may not work today. It may hallucinate and just merge and blur a bunch of word salad. But a year from now, I would be shocked if it wasn't better in tangible ways at somehow grounding on what it knows about him and all of his speeches, all of his contents out there, and then taking what it knows of that mental model you asked about, and then taking your question and running those three things through each other to come back to you with something that is not that you'll just plagiarize and say that's your own work, but to give you an interesting thought that you hadn't had yet. I would be shocked if that doesn't, like, if you build the prompt now and it doesn't work, just save it, because by the time they get to 5 or they get to 6, I bet you it's going to work.
Exactly. And you touched on a very interesting direction, which is like the level of intelligence, right, of this model, of this intelligence that you're interacting with, because it's only getting smarter. Indeed, like, there's no going back, right? It's simple. It's impossible for AI to become more stupid on the long term, right? It's not going to happen. It's always going to get more and more intelligent. And what this will do, I have a friend here in Brazil who speaks and is deeply studying AI. He says that intelligence will become a commodity, right? Intelligence is not going to be a big deal, and it's already less of a big deal day by day, because the models are going to represent that intelligence and are going to create analysis and give perspectives and explanations. And they will start to do this better than we will do. So our job...
I think a lot of people, sorry to interrupt, but a lot of people are going to find that threatening.
Yeah.
So how do we take that reality that you just said, that intelligence is now a commodity? How are we going to take that and tell people that they don't have to be frightened about their... See, a craftsmanship, like I talked about this with my dad and with other people, is like, I used to be an electrician. And so craftsmanship, or let's move it over to woodworking. Craftsmanship used to be able, like, if you were going to put shingles on a roof, how fast you could do it with your hammer, and you did a good job, you built a craftsman skill. Well, now they have air hammer tools that do it 80% as good and 10 times as fast, and your craftsmanship just really doesn't matter to customers anymore. That extra 20% just doesn't matter compared with the 10x on production. So how do we take that thing that's happening in knowledge work and thinking and have people not completely freak out about it? What about them is still valuable if intelligence is now the commodity? If it got commoditized, it's no longer a craft. What is it that they can still bring to the table so they don't feel threatened?
That is so true. And it goes back to how we see ourselves and what do we value ourselves for, right? I remember hearing one phrase that radically changed my life, and it was, if I value myself for what I know, and I'm in a room full of brilliant, intelligent people, I'm going to be over focusing on what I know or don't know and judging myself based on that, instead of being able to absorb. As you said, I like to be the stupidest person in the room, right? Because then you can learn with other people that know more than you, right? So I think it goes into the same direction, right? What do we value ourselves for, and how are we able to contribute? And we have to be able to understand that we are still valuable, right? So we have to stop picturing intelligence as the reason why we're valuable, and understanding that we are valuable for many other qualities and other skills. And this is going to bring up hidden or kind of covered um, strengths and aspects of our human condition and of our human existence and experience that we have been trained to suppress and we have been trained to forget in a way. But now we're going to start uncovering, because we are not going to rely that much on intelligence. We are going to need to think about our intuitive our intuitive sorry intuitive
Intuitions, yeah.
intuition, yeah, and start looking at other aspects of empathy and understanding. And as you were saying about being a generalist, or seeing the connections in between different areas and different people that you know, right? So your value and the value proposition for being a human will change, and that doesn't have to be frightening if we understand that we are still valuable, and we see that we are still useful and understand how we're going to be useful, not being intelligent or not being the most intelligent being, right?
I appreciate it, man, because that is chapter 1 of the book. That has got to be chapter 1 of the book, because that's what I think, that what you just said is what people are gonna need to hear to be able to hear anything else you say after it.
Mm-hmm.
Anything once we get into the technical hows are not going to be listened to by people that feel threatened.
Mm-hmm.
And it you know, it's just you know, we have the scarce, you know, you talked about abundance earlier. It's like we have this scarcity model of reality that just
Mm-hmm.
it might disappear in large areas. What I mean, and if we're set up to see scarcity as a good,
Mm-hmm.
and we don't have value without scarcity, that just back up for a second. That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, it's not sustainable.
Yeah, but I mean, like a world built on scarcity that's definitely where I live, but it's not where I want to live. It's like
Yes,
what
the
if you
world
and
is
I,
changing, and AI
what if,
is a part of
yeah,
it. Like, you can say whatever you say. AI is a part of the change, and it's going to be an agent in shaping the way that humans evolve, right? And it could be, and I think it is, a spiritual evolution, right? Humans are going through a spiritual awakening and a different way of seeing and understanding reality. And I mean, it's undeniable that AI is playing a part in that. And of course, it's not the main let's say force acting, but it's there. Like, everything's connected, right? You can't look at one thing without the other.
yeah. No, it's that's awesome. That's awesome. We gotta talk more about this stuff.
Mm.
This is exactly what I wanted to do with the channel, man. To see is find cool stuff and help people. You know,
Mhm. And it was
that's great.
awesome being here chatting and diverging, converging, and going different places. It's very nice to
Cool.
chat
Yeah. So
about this type of thing.
I'm gonna do this every Saturday. So I better not make that promise to the universe. I'm gonna do this every Saturday that I can.